Hello and welcome to a series of lessons given on SolidWorks on how to make springs on SolidWorks itself. To start off, open the program SolidWorks and click up here on the white page. This will allow you to open up a new part by clicking here and then OK that. Allow this to open up. The best way to draw a compression spring in SolidWorks is to start on top plane. So if you hover over top plane, right click and hit the select button, left click on the select button there. That will give you a normal 2 view on what you're drawing. Then along here are your sketch tools. You want to click on the circle tool, then go over to your origin, which is in the center of the top plane, left click and drag out, and then left click again. This will give you a circle. You want to right click then as a shortcut and smart dimension that circle. For this example of a compression spring, I'm going to do it of a mean diameter of 50. You now want to tick that and move on to the next step, which up here, click Features, over to Curves, and then click on the Helix Tool. This thing brings you up 2 options. You can either have a spring with a consistent pitch or a variable pitch. We want a variable pitch. And here in these columns here, this is P stands for pitch, the REV stands for revolutions, H for height, and obviously the diameter at the end. I'm just going to bring this out so we can get a better view. You also have this button here which allows you to switch which direction the spring is being coiled in, which angle it starts in. I always put it at 0, and obviously how it's coiled, clockwise or anti-clockwise. To start off, I'm going to start off with a pitch of 2 millimeters. Now I'm going to go to 8.5 millimeters at 1 revolution. Then 12 mil, and that'd be at second revolution, and then tab your way through to get to a new pitch starting or revolution. We now want to continue the pitch at 12 mil, but what we'll do, we'll jump revolutions 3 and 4 out and just hit 5, and the spring, the helix, will be formed to that revolution. We now want to start closing off the helix as well, so we'll put 8.5 in at 6 revolutions, and then back down to 2 at 7 revolutions, so it's even each side. You now want to tick this, and then you get a view of what the mean diameter of the spring will look like. So our next step now is to sweep the helix, so it's got the diameter of the wire. So the best way to do this is to reference geometry, plane, and it will ask you for some reference points. So if you click here and then zoom in, click on the helix itself, then it will automatically jump down and want the second reference point, which I always just click on the end of the helix. And we know that it's fully defined, as the plane itself has turned blue, and it's also got a message here saying fully defined. So you want to tick that, swivel around so you get a better view, right click on this plane and hit sketch. So this is so you can sketch on this plane now. You now want to click the circle tool and just do a sketch on that plane. Right click as a shortcut to the smart dimension tool and give that a dimension of 4 mil. Now to get this circle onto the helix itself, we have to put a point. So select the point tool up here and put a point on that plane. Right click and then select will just cancel you out of that control. Then left click on the point, holding down control and hold on to the helix itself. That will bring up this option as a relationship, and you want to hit pierce, and that will pierce that point to the end of the Helix tool. You now want to tick that and select the middle of the circle, then holding down the control button again on your keyboard, select on the point, and now we want to add the relationship coincidence. So click that and your circle will jump onto the point you've just made earlier. And it's also turned black, so we know it's fully defined. The next job is for us to sweep boss, but first we just need to exit that sketch, and now sweep boss is now available. So if we click on sweep boss, it's automatically jumped onto the second sketch we've done, and it knows that this is going to be the overall diameter. So now we need to click on this box here, and then click on the helix, select the helix. As you can see, it's given a preview of what it's going to look like, and it's looking good so far. We now want to tick that and add the final step. A spring maker in industry will always grind off the ends. They usually take off about 70% of the top coil. This gives it a square finish, so it can stand up straight and it's not bouncing from side to side. So what we want to do now, we want to sketch in the right hand plane, so right click on the plane and sketch, and also right click and normal too, so we've got a better view of what we're drawing. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to select the corner to corner rectangular tool and just draw a square on the bottom. I'm also going to do one on the top. This will save time later on. Right click and select to jump out of them commands. And we now need to measure the distance between the bottom point and the rectangle we've just drawn, so we know that we're taking off 70%. So I need to add a reference point, so by clicking on the point tool here and then hovering over the diameter of the circle on the end, it's coming up with the circle itself, and it's also got an orange circle, and that is the four corners. We'll always have one. You can see here as I demonstrate. So you want to tick that point. Also just want to zoom out and put one down here. And this one's a bit easy to see, as you can see, because it's a cut, it's the flat plane. And just put one there. Right click and then smart dimension. So that smart dimension that line to that line. At the moment it's at 50%. We want 70%. Between 70 and 75% is okay. So just put the 1.2 mil in. Tick that. And we'll do that again at the same at the top. .2 again. Enter that. Tick that. And now we're ready for the next step, which is to extrude cut. So back up to features, and this is the extrude cut tool. So click on that, and then selecting your direction, mid plane, and then just increase the diameter of what you're going to be cutting by. Tick that, and just finishing touches, we'll just hide that plane, and there you have it, a standard compression spring. Thank you for watching this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it and you've learnt something from it. Don't forget to subscribe to John Bin Springs YouTube channel, and we look forward to hearing from you if you have any feedback, and thank you very much.